So that's how we're gonna make bread. You need your bread making stuff, bowl, measuring cups, flour. So we need 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. That means water you could put a baby in. One and a half cups. And then you take your yeast package. I just use the grocery store brand one. It's 88 cents. And you just put that in your water mixture. Stir it up. Stir the yeast, stir the yeast. Stir. Get in there. Get in there. Then you want to take a tablespoon and you need 2 of these of sugar. Plop them down in there. And give it a stir. And then you let it sit for 15 minutes. Woo! Alright, so yeast is done. See how it's kind of foamed up? That's what it should look like when it's right. So I'm going to do wheat bread, so I'm going to do half white flour, or actually that's the wheat flour, half white flour, half wheat flour. Doesn't matter what order you put it in, just do it. Too much. Still a little too much. Here we go. 2. There's that one. I clean as I go. Okay, so that's 2 cups of white flour. Now we need Now if you want to do just white bread, then you use all 4 cups, just regular flour. Close enough. 1. 2. I always get just a little extra flour because you're probably going to need it for the dough. Whatever you don't use, just dump it back in the bag. It keeps. And then we need 1 teaspoon salt. I like to use kosher salt. I just like the way it turns out. Stir that up together. So it's nice and mixed. And you take your yeasty mixture and you just pour it into your flour. wooden spoon, but I found it doesn't really matter. Just use a spoon. A big one, not a little one. And then you stir it up. Till it starts to not be a liquid. And once it starts to get kind of doughy, see how it's kind of doughy? You just wipe off the spoon. As good as you can. You're still going to have some sticky stuff on there, but that's okay. Roll up your sleeves. Rub a little flour on your hands. And then just kind of go to town, mushing it down so it gets kind of all together. It's going to be a little flaky at first. That's okay. It's also going to be kind of sticky. That's okay too. This is the fun part where you get to get your hands all in it. It's going to stick to your hands. If it gets too sticky, that's what the flour's for. Usually what I do, and this probably helps, is when it gets all sticky on your hands like that, kind of rinse my hands off a bit. I don't get my hands completely dry, I just get them where they're kind of damp. It's kind of sticky right there. That's when you just, the way I like to do this is just, oops, a little too much. Pop a little flour in your hand, make a fist, sprinkle, put the rest there, rub it, and then go back to punching. And we're going to do this all over the bread until you don't find any sticky spots. And once your bread is no longer sticky in points, give it one more fold and knead. And then you cover it with a dishcloth and leave it alone for 1 hour. So it's been an hour, yay. So we take the towel off. And see how it's gotten a lot bigger? It's supposed to do that. You're going to have to punch it down again. But the first thing we're going to do is turn our oven to 350 degrees. Also, have your bread pan ready. I like this one. Alright, so now that we've got this, we need to punch it down again. Violence towards the bread dough. I mean, you don't actually have to punch it, but if you want to, it might help take up some anger and frustrations if you've had a bad day. So you punch it down some. Now, you gotta get it all the way around because sometimes it wants to stick to the bowl again. It might not. If it doesn't, hooray. If it does, oh well. You might have little flaky bits, but that's okay. What I like to do is I like to just put them inside the bread, fold it over, punch. Now you don't have to knead it as much as you did last time. Just make sure that it's nice and smooth. About to do it for our second knead. Because like I said, it doesn't need as much as the first time. It should be kind of stretchy. See how it's kind of stretchy? And what I like to do is just kind of pat it with my hand. Make sure I like the feel of it. Give it a couple more kneads if you need to. But I'm liking the way that feels. Okay. We're still waiting on the oven to heat up. And my personal little trick, take a paper towel. Fold twice. I like to use olive oil. It's a lot better than vegetable oil. It's healthier for you. Plus, usually darker decorations on the bottle is prettier. Get a little oil on your paper towel and then just grease your pan so your bread does not stick. Now if your oven still has a little ways to go, that's okay. Just take your dough. If you want to, you can shape it a little. Take dough, place dough in pan. It's okay if it comes out kind of uneven in the pan. See, mine's kind of more squishy in the middle. And that's okay, it all bakes out in the end. So now we let the oven heat up and we'll be back. Okay, so oven preheated. Take bread in pan. Place in oven and set for 45 minutes. Yay! So our timer went off. We turned the oven off. That's important. Don't do like I did once and leave the oven on. The little crispy things at the bottom catch on fire. That's not fun. Okay, we take our bread out. And what I like to do, the bread should come out easy. You take your, be sure you get a towel for this. You take your towel and you flip it over and make sure you've got it really well. And just wiggle it out of the pan. Now, the reason why I got it flipped over is because you need to put your ear, not against it, you'll burn your ear off, but put it close to it and tap the bottom real light. If you hear that sound? It sounds hollow? It's done. So what you do is you grab a cooling rack and you place it on the counter. You grab a hold of your bread and you set it on there and you let it cool. And we have nice, pretty bread. Now part of it's going to look like this. That's okay. That's what homemade bread does. So here you go. Now you know how to make bread from scratch. Hooray!